Hey guys, Wes here. So today I'm going to be doing a 29-gallon update like I promised last week. Sorry that wasn't really a very appropriate video for a fish channel, but it was the only other video I had to upload just to kind of put a placeholder in for that week since I was really busy. But here we are with the 29-gallon. I just did some trimming today, so it's a little bit lighter on the plants. But I think it looks a lot better because before it was really overgrown, especially the Amazon sword in this right corner. It was really big and obnoxious, so I kind of toned that down. And also the valves are growing in really nice, so I trimmed those down so they have room to grow up. So first, I will talk about just the fish in general. The angelfish, like always, is doing really well. Still growing, still eating, still happy. I think he'll be happier now that he has more room to swim around with that Amazon sword kind of toned down a bit, but he's doing well. Here is the Apisto, Orange Flash Apisto. He's doing well also. I'm actually not sure if this fish is a he or she quite yet. I'll have to research more on the sexing of Apistos, but this fish is doing well. Colors are really showing. That might be a good indicator that it is a male, but still growing, still active. He's kind of found his hiding spot, which is down in between all these Tropica swords down here. So he's doing well. The Harlequin Rasboras are also doing well. That one right there has kind of like a weird spine thing going on, but that's been there for a year and he's still doing fine. So these guys, I love how they school. I like how they're a little bit bigger and how they have a nice red color against the green plants. I think I have 8 of these, 7 or 8 Harlequin Rasboras. They're doing well. Next, I will focus on the Panda Cories. Sorry about this algae. I only have one snail in here, and he's the only one that can really get at this green spot algae. Okay, that Cory is out of there, but my long-fin Panda Cories are doing great. Just the 2 of them still. They seem happy together. They get plenty of food. When I feed, a lot of the food does go down to the bottom for the Cories and the Apisto. The only other fish that I have in here are the Ottos, which always hang out back here behind the Tropica sword. They don't really swim around much during the day. I have a feeling that they're more active at night, but they do a great job of keeping the leaves on this Tropica sword clean because that's their favorite spot. And also the Amazon swords are also squeaky clean. So I'm not sure if they actually have been eating a lot of algae, but I would assume they are because there isn't a whole lot of growth on any of the plants. Next, I guess I will talk about all the plants. Like I said at the beginning, I kind of did some trimming and toned it down a little bit. It was getting a little bit too overgrown for my taste, so I trimmed the Amazon sword in the corner. I took off about 4 or 5 big leaves, the ones that were almost above the surface, just so it had more room to grow. Italian Vals are growing in really nicely. They're really filling in that whole entire back area. There was a runner that actually ran up here. You can see that kind of cut off green stem. They ran all the way up to the front of the tank, so I trimmed that off. But they're really growing in thick behind that driftwood, and I think it looks really nice. And I just trimmed them down, tried to add in some, I guess, layers you could say, just so it looked more natural. But I really like how they're looking. Then we have more Amazon swords here in the corner. 2 of them, 2 smaller ones, babies off of the big mother plant in the other corner. They're doing well. I cut probably 3 or 4 leaves off of this just to kind of lighten it up. The Tropica swords are also doing very well. I didn't trim these ones because the stems are really condensed down to the bottom, and I would have ended up having to cut off a big chunk of stem, and that would have looked really odd, so I just left these, and it's also the great hiding spot for the Apisto like I mentioned before. I'm going to skip over that crypt for now and move on to the Cypress Hellfury. This plant is doing very well also. I trimmed this one to keep it a little bit lower in front. You can see they're squared off on the edges, but I also tried to give this one some layers and make it look a little bit more natural, despite the flat edges. So here is my biggest crypt right in the center. There was a few leaves kind of facing towards the glass, and they were leaning up against the front glass, which looked a little bit weird because you could really tell that it was leaning on the glass, so I trimmed those off. This is the tallest I've seen this plant grow. It probably was just having a really bad shortage of nutrients in the 20-gallon, so it never got big like this. But now that it has the dirt, and especially over here, these are kind of shaded by the sword when that gets really full. They're doing very well, putting off new leaves. As you can see, there's a new leaf starting down on this one. Right here is the Crypt Blassie. I'm not sure how I feel about this plant. After I took out the narrow leaf micro sword, I stuck this in front here because it used to be in the two openings in the driftwood pieces, but I moved this up here just because I wanted to give it a second chance. It doesn't really grow very fast. There's a little bit of red coloring under the leaf there. It's supposed to be a really intense red color, but unfortunately it just hasn't really done well, so I think it's just going to stay there until I decide to finally get rid of it if I want to move around some crypts if those get too thick. So I think that's all the plants in this tank. The driftwood hasn't been growing a whole lot of algae. There's a little bit of green algae on the top of this one over here. There was some brown hair algae on the driftwood kind of drifting in the flow. Thankfully that's gone away. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I'm glad it didn't decide to stay. Hair algae is like the most difficult thing to ever get rid of because a lot of fish don't eat it, snails don't eat it, and usually it's a really big problem and it doesn't go away by itself. But thankfully whatever kind of hair algae this was, it went away. It was almost kind of little tufts, but it was like a light brown color, so I'm glad that went away. Here's the cories. They don't scurry off again. Here's one over here. I really like their longer fins. They look really majestic when they swim. So I'm glad I decided to get the two of those, even though there was only two. I was hoping to get more than two. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this 29 update for you guys. I still have the Eheim Skim up in the corner there. That's going strong. Still have the two Aqua Clears. I really love these filters. If I haven't said it enough, I really recommend them if you're starting a tank and you want to have a really good hang-on back filter instead of a canister. And then I still have the Aqua Top heater in the back there. That works well, keeps the tank at the right temperature, and it's a relatively cheap heater too, so I would recommend that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe for more videos. I'm really happy with myself keeping this weekly schedule, and I hope to continue it. So stay tuned next week for another video. Like this video if you enjoy these updates, because then I know when to do more. And if you have any comments, make sure to leave those down below. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week.